already approved.
Okay,
Sorry, that was a lot. Anyway, so separate votes, I would say, unless there's discussion.
so is a debt service, I meant to call you and ask you this, is a debt service,
That's what we pay back on the bond.
okay, so that's the interest?
No, that's just what we pay back, interest and
okay.
principal over 3
Okay,
years. It's a
gotcha.
3-year bond.
Okay,
So for 3 years, we would have that line item for that bond.
okay. So that's the $4 million?
3, yes.
Okay,
So there's good math there. They make a little bit of money.
okay. Okay.
So we talked about for firefighters, like this says, I noticed maximum salaries will be as follows.
Correct.
So that gives some leeway to like,
Officer positions.
okay,
Yeah.
it also includes the raises for us.
Yes.
Which I'm hesitant about.
I would do budget and vote or discuss and then do I don't think you can combine them. And again, maximum salaries, or maximum budget. So the board can always come up with.
Okay, so that's the second one on the 25 is the most that they'll make, right?
Or we're back to the salary resolution?
I'm just making sure I understand that.
Sure.
Okay, and that is basically what the Special Fire Protection Territory General 8604 is about?
Yes.
Okay,
Well, it includes that. It's got.
yeah, includes it, okay.
And so, so for office staff and electeds, it's out of the general fund?
No, a little bit of everything. Some caseworkers come out of assistance.
Okay,
If your job is primarily assistance, the township trustee and deputy trustee could come out of assistance as well. We don't. We don't, we are taking 20% of the deputy and the trustee salary out of the fire fund because we figure about 1/5 of the time will be spent on fire duties. But we take the rest of it completely out of general. So
Okay.
the caseworkers and intake clerks tend to come out of assistance. The other staff tend to come out of general.
Okay,
So here. This is. So this is just budget form for it. We gotta vote on that first, and then we move on to the budget.
This is the budget.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And then you can pass or not pass or amend the salary ordinance. Yes.
okay,
Because these advertised amounts, the board can change the budget at any time
okay.
and lessen this. This is just the maximum that it can possibly be, because it's what's been
In
advertised.
general. Okay, rainy day,
okay.
We can spend less, we can't spend more.
okay.
I think I'm happy to go ahead with passing the regular budget.
So I vote A.
I'll second, or I don't know how we did that there. but-
You motioned and I'll call Mohammed the second, if that's okay.
Okay,
Okay, so that passes and I will have things for you guys to sign there.
okay.
That's Carol, will you voting yes? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Martha.
Now is the salary resolution, which is technically independent of the budget, so you can do
Okay.
as you like with the salary.
I only had one question, which I lost some place. I'll think about, I know what my question was. Okay. Somebody from our board is going to sit on the fire board, right?
Yeah, Mr. Hill is.
Huh?
This year Ryan will be.
Okay, so are we gonna pay, will the fire territory pay part of Ryan's salary?
No, the interlocal,
I think it specifically forbid
It
us
does.
from getting
It
any
does, yeah.
compensation for doing that.
there might be an argument that we could take part of that salary out of that fund.
Yeah, I think that's what you're
I
asking.
That's
right
what
there.
I'm asking, right?
Like, moving just my general salary partially.
I suggested that the appointees be paid extra, and I was promptly shot down.
Oh, okay,
But, I'm not sure if we could there, because Ryan, like Ryan said, it does specifically say we cannot pay the board members, so.
oh, the fire
It
territory,
does, the interlocal says to specifically.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
she
Probably
means
would- Yeah, she means, can we charge it to that fund?
like you're doing with,
I probably would say no, and the reason why
Okay.
is the other township doesn't have that ability.
okay,
interesting.
okay.
Fair.
Well, it might not be as bad as Center.
No, maybe not.
Hopefully it won't be as bad as Center.
We are being recorded.
I don't care, Center.
I'm sure they know at this point.
They know how I feel.
You know,
And we're basically going through a divorce.
Board edification.
Record.
I've said much worse in public.
Okay, so discussion, resolution 24/2025.
I mean, the salaries look logical to me for what people have to do. And now okay, clerk 2 is part-time. I got it. Okay,
Okay, and a couple of points. The fire chief doesn't get paid out of this year, right?
Correct. None of these, except for Samantha, are being paid out of this year, except for the fire operations man.
We need to note, that's another one we need in the notes, that because
He's acting.
he's acting, like he's not actually paid for it, because that's a conflict.
I can do that.
okay.
And this also means like we have appropriate the money for the firefighters, but may not fill our ranks, right? So we have time to build
We
it
will
up.
not. Also, Chief Downey will have to resign as trustee before he would be paid as fire chief.
Right,
Okay,
that was the conflict.
that was Steve.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, because if he is trustee and the fire chief,
can't
it's a
be
big
both.
conflict, so.
okay. So I make sure I'm understanding this. The assistant fire chief, the battalion chief, the fire administrative assistants. Okay, the fire chief, all those people are not being paid out of Portage Township money.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
They're being paid.
Well, I mean, a
through
portion,
Portage
yeah, yeah.
Township, but
And
not-
a third of it is ours.
Right, a third.
So, yeah.
But this is not a third.
No, I mean,
Okay.
if you were, about a third of the fire territory's money comes from Portage Township.
Right,
And
Okay.
2/3 comes from Warren.
right.
But that fund, the fire fund is paying for all of those,
Okay, gotcha.
not our general.
I don't have any questions.
I make a motion that we accept resolution 24/2025.
Well, I second.
Hold on. Jason, we talked before about a couple, like a lot of those data things. That's for tracking assistance, for tracking when people are dropping out of it, for getting like those demographics on a consistent measurement. Is there any progress on that? Because that was a big part last year of like raising salaries
We're tracking it all manually.
manually.
Yeah, the Tom's Web does not have the full reporting functionality. As on our tour, we learned. So we do track it all, but it's all manual. We have spreadsheets that we keep. Every assistance applicant comes in here and the cause of denial and all of that. It is all captured.
But also not just denial, when they just like stop coming.
So we
Because
require
software
them.
rates are an issue.
We require them to provide the documents within 48 hours. So if they don't provide the documents within 48 hours and don't contact us for the reason, we try to contact them. And if they don't call us back, it goes down as an automatic denial, as a failure to cooperate. So that has been the big change. So about a quarter of our denials are people who just don't come back. We can't get a hold of them. We try to call at least twice.
Okay.
Mhm.
Usually
It's
they
like-
don't call back.
It's just like, your absentee, request, right? If something, you leave something out, they're supposed to contact you.
Yeah, we tell them here, we're very clear when they come in. Oftentimes there's something they don't want to provide.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I assume. But, okay.
Yeah.
Is there, like, is someone specifically kind of being the one that's collects that I could chat with sometimes, just here?
Yeah, I mean, I can send them to you if you want. Do
Okay.
whatever you want with them, yeah. I mean, feel free, I just jump in there and try to to understand where we live. It's really just me taking it and manually taking everybody's spreadsheet, putting it all together and, I mean, it's several hundred, so it's not like
Yeah.
ridiculous, but
Mhm.
it's a crunching, it's a turn and burn sort of thing. But yeah, I can send them to you.
Only,
Okay. I might wanna sit down at some point and go. over
I'll just send them to you.
only question, okay,
Just
You-
remind.
you said people have how many days to bring the stuff back?
We ask them to return their documents within 48 hours because we're supposed to return a decision within 72.
Okay.
The
okay.
office previously was not, somebody would come in and they would not have them fill out the application. What we learned in my travels and that is the problem is they're supposed to fill out the application the day they come in because them signing the application is what gives the trustee the authority to even look at any of that
Okay.
documentation.
Okay,
So before, you recall, you would sit out, remember you'd see all the cases sitting out on the
Right.
table. We stopped doing that because that was, in my judgment, improper.
okay. Now, here's my question. I'm thinking of people and is it crystal clear to them that if it's the next day after the deadline, they can still come back?
Yeah, we asked them to come back within 48 hours and if they can't, to let us know. So
Okay.
sometimes they'll call and say, my landlord is being difficult, no problem.
Okay,
Or we will call them before denying them. We call them at least twice. The
Okay,
caseworker-
gotcha.
The caseworker gets the case themselves.
Okay.
We have to keep a separate pile of them that we call, I don't remember what they call them.
Okay.
They call them incompletes. They're incomplete, so the caseworker will call several times over a couple days.
Mhm.
They can't get a hold of them,
okay.
then it goes.
Here's my next question. I mean, I know a lot of people don't get their phone don't work because they haven't quite paid it yet.
Sure. We get that.
Can we also send them,
We get an email, we're collecting emails at the window.
okay, I was gonna ask, can you send them an email?
Us, when we walk through here, actually, do you guys
Yeah,
remember?
it's not been-
Did you see it? We just
I got
started
that. I was like,
today.
"What's up?"
We were waiting for the pedestal to come.
Right,
And then we needed a way to fashion the iPad to the pedestal. So now everyone that comes in, we get, when you come in, you sign into the office. And so, I'm sorry. So when you walk into that iPad and you
Mhm.
sign in with your name, your email, why you're here.
mm-hmm,
And then an email goes out like this to the whole office with the
Mhm.
picture and the time that they came. So
Okay.
we collect email. We were collecting them manually and now we actually have them in a system.
mm-hmm,
Okay.
This also, in my mind, would also help with maybe arguments later. This
mm-hmm.
person wasn't here, they was whatever.
For people who have no emails, I'm thinking about old folks, right? Could you send, and then you can't get them on the phone, can you send them a letter if they don't have emails?
Yeah, too late.
Yeah,
I mean, by
that's
the
gonna
time they
take
turn it
around 2
around.
days.
Right, I know.
It just doesn't happen often, but we could, yeah.
Okay, I was working with
I'd be
a,
more akin to drive over there myself before
Okay,
sending a letter,
okay.
to be honest with you.
okay, because there are some old folks who just do not do emails.
Oh, yeah, if they had that problem, we would just.
And I feel like the staff or whomever would point out, like, yeah, this person.
They tell them at the window.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's very clear, like, we really push that at the window.
Okay,
This is what's going on. But yeah, of course, I mean, any
Yeah.
accommodation that needs to be made, we do that.
yeah, I like
Okay.
that.
I mean, it
Yeah,
sounds
that
like,
whole letter thing though, I mean.
The only time you use a letter
it's
is
gonna take
when you,
forever.
I know, but I'm saying the only time I would use a letter is like when you were dealing with a person who has no email
The next stage.
and their phone is so, not
probably
working too great.
Maybe just because you guys would be interested and this is the right moment. So, the landlord form
Yeah,
that they have to sign. What we'd like to do is get a DocuSign system going.
right,
So that we can email that to them. I mean, that's where we lose a lot of time is these landlords. the person, you, Cheryl,
Right.
have to go find your landlord, get them something,
Right.
and come bring it back. What we're talking about doing is implementing a DocuSign system where we have the list of landlords, we send them the landlord form, they signed it back. I imagine we would just need a board resolution approving the use of
Yeah, I think
DocuSign.
that would make sense,
Yeah.
cause it's best, it's one thing if you're talking about like a complex. It's
Yeah,
another when
that's
you're
right.
talking about someone that owns 3 units.
The biggest hiccup is typically the landlord. Now, a third of our referrals come from landlords. Again,
Right.
you know that because of the spreadsheets.
Right.
So a lot of them want to get paid. you know,
Right.
Which is also the property inspection program, which I would like to think a lot of them would play ball with that too. So yeah,
Okay.
there's more efficiencies to be made for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that makes
We're
sense.
not slowing down on the improvement front.
Okay.
Got the iPad up.
Oh, I knew that was coming. Ever since we
I was
did
very
that-
excited for
ever
that.
since we did that the other place.
This makes sense.
I knew that was coming.
People don't complain. They go right up and did it all day. It's been great.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
We did it. We had to do it to get behind the counter.
Yeah. They let Olivia in today and didn't make her do it, and I was like, you should have made her do it. I mean, really, like, if she comes in, she needs to probably sign in.
Can't have random people just.
I
Also,
don't,
a safety feature, we know who's in the building, you know,
Right.
as we grow, that might become more important.
I
I
didn't
like the
sign
little
in.
sticker badge idea.
I didn't sign in.
Yeah.
I think it was after
Yeah,
hours.
but let's
I
do that.
don't know how to use it.
Uh-huh.
I need Jamie here.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we pass resolution 2025. Go ahead.
Motion has been made and seconded.
Okay.
That's it. Before the board is the vote.
I'm sure, yes.
Mohammed, yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, so now we have to add this, is there a process to go about by adding this or just make a motion to add this to the agenda?
Yeah, I think, so this is 25.
Mhm.
26, wouldn't it be?
25.
I think it's 20. There's another one.
Oh,
No.
No, it's 2024, sorry.
So I think any member of the board, can make a motion to amend the agenda to include resolution 2024 under new business.
Okay, so I make a motion that we include resolution 2024 onto the agenda for the Portage Township board meeting, September 9th.
I second.
All right, now this is the extension of the other.
Yes, this is, as you said, the first one was to, get the money. This resolution was to spend the money. So this, amendment authorizes the revision of the project description to include acquisition, renovation, reconstruction of this building. It doesn't
Okay.
amend any other terms of the resolution, just allows the money, to be spent, in addition to the other, elements of the project previously described, this building as well. And as I mentioned previously, we published a notice of public hearing. The board already held a public comment session at the beginning of this that could qualify as a public hearing, or it could hold a separate public hearing, now considering this resolution. Either way would be acceptable in my view.
Well, this is what we're talking about, right?
Negative.
No. Show me what you're talking
Was
about.
that?
You have,
The one I handed out, this one right here.
Okay, this one.
It goes along with that bond. Remember the.
Okay, so that's why it's still
Yeah, yeah.
24.
It's 25-2024 because of the year.
Okay, but didn't we
25.
just do something that was
We
25?
did, and I
We
just
talked
circled
about
it.
it.
Yeah, we just did something that was 25 that I voted on.
We
Didn't
talked
I?
about it.
We
but-
talked about it, then moved
We
it to
didn't.
the end of the agenda.
But we
Yeah.
didn't vote.
So we just
Okay.
added it to the agenda now.
Okay.
I really stepped in it on that. Should have added it.
You
No,
don't,
no,
girl gets
That salary resolution does say
25. I remember him saying
It
25.
does say 2025.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah, so we missed a year.
24.
Oh.
That salary was
My bad.
25.
It's 24-2024.
Another one.
Yeah, see.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I circled it.
You're right. It's because of the 2025 salaries, but I was confused.
Yeah.
I'll just make that amendment in here.
I'm like, am I losing my mind or did we lose it here?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell are you guys so confused about? Okay, my bad.
So what is this one?
I'm too busy. This is the motion to spend the bond money.
Right,
The
and
amended
that's
bond
what,
money.
what is it, 25?
It is 25-2024.
Okay,
Sorry.
Well,
Don't sleep on
I make a
Carol.
motion that we pass resolution number 25/2024. I mean, we have to.
I think we could just
okay.
move on to something else.
This isn't 25?
You get to bask in your typo for a 20 minutes.
God.
Okay.
Reeling it into me.
Hold on.
All right.
It wasn't just that either. Somebody's name here is obviously missing clearly. I don't know who that is.
Okay, so this is 20,
All right, can we just motion to pass and?
25-2024.
okay.
Yeah, motion to pass 25-2024.
Right.
All in favor?
All right.
Yeah,
Aye. All right,
All right.
I heard that.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, we'll see you later. In 2025.
Are you really gonna leave in the midst of this excitement? This whole 25 thing?
It's been an exciting board meeting.
Good to see you.
See you later.
okay,
All right, there is no old business, board chair.
okay.
Okay, so what's the report?
So, you've got our budget numbers, nothing super notable there. On the assistant side, we are consistently, able to give out about 50% of what's requested for shelter and about 35% of what's requested for utilities.
Okay.
That's what we're hoping to make up with that excess levy appeal.
Okay,
When that is submitted and when in fact, when the report is finalized, I will forward that onto the board. There's about 7 points that they've included in there: Portage Cemetery, Senior Center, increased assistance, the property inspection program, Social Security, all that is in there as reasons for that levy appeal. So when we get that back, I'll forward that on to you. Outside of that, nothing too notable here. We're moving along budget just fine.
just quick question.
Sure.
So, what Dieter is talking about is now nowhere near part of the cemetery.
It's not, it's about a half a mile down the road.
Okay,
They're just waiting. We have not taken over ownership yet because it's a cluster. There's nobody really moving it. Derek, to his credit, is the only one trying to move it. He sends emails and calls probably once a week. My biggest issue has been access. At first, they were like, "Oh, we'll just unlock this gate and you can bring us back anytime you want to get back there." And I was like, "That doesn't work for us." So they're talking about, I think they're taking it to the city area planning to see if they will cut a path on the Bolin Trail. There's
okay.
already a gate there. There's already a little road. And
Mhm.
if they're able to get a little access road approved there, they will put that in and then probably transfer the ownership over to us. Because my big thing has been access. Don't give us something that we can't even get to, or the public can't get to at
Okay.
all.
So are the county still cutting the grass and everything? Okay.
They still own it. We've gotten estimates on maintenance. I
Mhm.
have those in hand. And it's gonna cost about 50 grand to put a decent fence up around it. It's big.
Okay,
How much?
50. That's wrought iron. I mean, that's a
Right.
nice fence. That's what we're sitting on. And we needed that for the levy appeal so that I could tell the state.
right, okay,
Because right now, especially if they're gonna start redeveloping around there, anybody could just be driving around on graves and not
Right.
know it.
right,
So at bare minimum, get a fence put up.
okay,
And there's permitting that's involved. Alex will have to help us there. When you're dealing with cemeteries, there's a state process. And who the hell knows what they're gonna find when they start going out there with a post hole digger.
Cemeteries are an interesting,
Mhm.
bucket of worms.
Since we're talking about it, there's
For lack of anything better to say.
since we're talking about it, a church also reached out to us several months ago that has a church here. There is no longer a congregation here, but there's an associated cemetery. They asked if we'd be interested in taking the cemetery off their hands. I laughed with Alex and said, no. But I think it's our responsibility. So we are talking to them now. They're paying for a survey for us to understand. It's the one right off of Western, or two, just past Holy Family. Over
okay,
on the, you know what
Yeah,
I'm talking about,
yeah.
on the north side of the road?
Yeah.
There's a couple of cemeteries there, and there's.
All that, they have like a carnival there every year, right? It's on-
Yeah,
Whole
oh,
Family does, yeah.
yeah.
On the corner. of-
And it's behind there, isn't it?
It is, yes, it's just past it, and there's like a little Hungarian cemetery that it sounds like the other cemeteries have just been taken care of, it's just barely within our borders, so
Yeah.
it's likely we'll have to take over the management of that one as well. But I think it's inactive, but either way.
So, I mean, I'm assuming that means they don't have any kind of endowment fund or anything like that, okay,
They were able to give us some records. I mean, he's this guy's in Warsaw and he's just a volunteer trying to do the right thing. And I
Okay,
just said we'd take care of it and
Yeah.
hold the records for him. So that's what's going on there. William Street, I'm doing walkthroughs with 3 construction companies over the next 2 weeks to see what it would cost to tear out some walls and make it ready for Real Services senior programming. I was telling Cheryl, I also just today, right before the board meeting, did a walkthrough with a pharmacy that would be interested in possibly coming in there as well. I guess I didn't know this. This is a big deal to have a pharmacy with the senior center. That's like a dream. So the idea is if we were to just invest a little bit of money to get programming going, we'd have ribbon cutting and we make it a big deal. We're opening the first senior center in South Bend. And then if we were to move forward with the building of one, we just have to just transfer the membership already over there. And
Right.
then we figure out what to do with William Street at that point. So I'm gonna get 3 bids and the board will have to review those bids.
and then it would, help give an idea if people really would come to something like
Yeah,
that.
great.
Because, you do have the one over at Zion
Yep.
Church, and then you've got the you've got the LaSalle Park Senior Center. Okay,
Yeah,
so it would give an idea whether or not,
that's right. We did get our first appraisal back on the parcels over by Real Services, but we haven't gotten the second appraisal back yet.
Okay.
So once we do, those will be forwarded onto the board as required. And then the board will have to decide if you want the trustee to negotiate a purchase. That would be a board vote. So no real movement there.
right,
So if you recall, there's 6 parcels of land over by where the Real Services building is. Real Services owns 3 and they're checkered like this.
Okay, those.
There's 3 other parcels that would need to be bought. And then I assume Real Services would transfer their parcels to us. And then we would all work together to build what that would look like there. Probably a separate bond than the one for this building. So getting to this building here, we've gotten our surveys back. I think actually Alex is just dotting a few last things for the board to make a final decision if we want to close or not on the building. But we didn't run across anything weird. That's just some cool maps. There was at one point in the 1940s a gas station nearby here. So Alex has a few questions for the environmental folks just to make sure we're not going to run across. But it's pretty cool. I mean, ever since 1851 or 1870, this was a road all the way until like the 1950s. This was Lincoln Way right here.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Um,
maps are fascinating.
yeah, it's really cool. I'll forward it over to you guys to take a peek. We just got them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real neat. It goes all the way back to the late 1800s. But
Can I also get a report though, just on anyone who has a financial interest in this building? Like any investors or others
I'm
that,
not sure we're privy to it.
Pass those resolutions, man.
A lot I need signed. I don't want it missed. I'm gonna go walk through it with you.
just because we want to know who the township would be paying.
So the long and short is, there are qualifications in the purchase agreement itself as far as representations of the seller that they're not, on terror lists, that they're not otherwise, disqualified from owning property under federal law or state law. But as far as who are members of the ownership, we wouldn't have any way to know, other than the representations that are made in the purchase agreement. The LLC, it's owned by Argos 316 LLC. It could be a single member LLC. It could have multiple members. We don't know. We don't know. And traditionally in a real estate agreement, we wouldn't know. Suffice to say, as long as the individual, like I said, there are representations that are made in the purchase agreement and provided that those are complied with, everything's above board.
Well, I mean, obviously, we'll want to see if there's any way we can avoid accusations of a conflict or anything, right? I don't know. Those crazy people.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, it's there's some federal laws that have come into place as far as identifying members of LLCs and who has to register and when they have to register, et cetera. But even those records, we wouldn't have access to.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's called the Corporate Transparency Act. It's a
Not transparent.
It's actually, it's probably overly transparent to the point where, even as an attorney, if I form a business, I help somebody form a business. Or even consult with somebody about forming a business and they ultimately form it, I may have to register, with, I'm sure the entity that I'd register with, a federal entity, that I was involved in the process in order to track who's involved and what their interests are. So, yeah, it's actually, you probably got some libertarians that would be very upset about the CTA, I think. But, for the time being, it's with law.
Hmm.
So once he gets his final analysis, we'll probably put our heads together, or maybe just at the next board meeting. I don't know if there's a vote required. I think it would just be four of us. Do we want to do this? In the meantime, we are starting the planning with Structure Point, that we have a meeting at the end of this month. We've given the health department sort of an ultimatum. The new health, what's her name? Director of the health department. She came out on Friday. So it's like this very strange, seems interested again. She loved it. She came out, looked at the place, loved the idea of it. And so I'm kind of like, well, we need to know, and it's out of her hands, but that actually breathes a little new life into it because I thought that was over. So,
I mean, they couldn't make that move without the commissioners, or at least the council saying so.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. So, I sent you guys, and I was gonna show Cheryl here before she leaves, we did get an artistic rendering of what an event center here could possibly look like. We're meeting with we have a survey that's ready to go. The marketing company has a survey that at a moment's notice, we can send it out as part of the announcement. So we were thinking about doing it this week, but with being disinvited to the council meeting, it decided we'll do it next week. We'll just send out kind of a press release announcing that this is what the board's considering doing, and please inviting community feedback, essentially.
Just know why.
If we wanted to have like just a
Okay.
community forum,
Yeah, we could do that. Absolutely. There was some talk of a maybe online one so that people could just log in at 7, that the marketing company would lead and we would be on there to answer questions. And maybe as a next step after we get the survey, back.
Okay.
But I'll send you guys over the survey when it's final to take a look at it. That's about it on the buildings unless there's questions there.
No.
Nothing major on the fire territory. We're just, things are moving along. Actually, I just got an email today that we, are, they're accepting applications. They're wading through those, getting those guys fitted. Things are moving along there. There was something along the lines of the marketing company, but it was different. And then I do have Connor on the line here. He wanted to come today. He wants to try to come to as many board meetings as he can, but he would be happy to give an update on health initiatives. He has in fact put in the LOI was due for the 2025 Health First Grant. So if you guys would like, he'd be happy to give you an update on what they're thinking.
yeah, sure.
Go for it, Connor. Are you still with us?
Yes, I am indeed. So yeah, per Jason, we did submit our LOI for 2025. We submitted it with a proposal of $200,000. That will go towards kind of expanding the program next year, as we've been seeing a pretty big need for nutrition information and food assistance. So that would allow us to kind of expand our cooking classes that we're doing. It would go towards printed materials, class materials. It would go towards the implementation of a mobile food market, which is something that we've been wanting to do as well. And that will allow us to kind of take a mobile unit into different neighborhoods and parks in the city during the summertime to sort of create these pop-up nutrition markets for people. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, when you say a nutrition market, are you saying that you'd be selling food?
So the way it would work, and I've been working with our consultant, Robin Vita, is that essentially we would be selling the bags that we supply for our current cooking classes, which are insulated freezer bags. We would sell them for $5 because it gives a sense of responsibility to the people who are purchasing the bag itself. And then they'd be able to fill it up with free veggies, free fruits, things like that.
So they
Okay,
just pay for the bag and then the food though that they use to fill it up.
It's a
they-
real nice
they just
insulated
get that.
bag. Yeah.
They just get that for free.
Free, yeah.
But it's $5 for the bag.
So it would take, we would talk to Transpo about donating a bus. We would get our logos put on it, and it would just be a new program that was
mhm,
always done by the township.
yeah.
Advertise where you're gonna park it every week.
I like that.
Kind of like, what's it, the mobile food pantry?
Exactly right.
Kind of like
But
that
more of a
concept?
market. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Now, will they get the food free or will they have to pay for
The
it?
food is free.
Okay,
The bag is cost. The bag.
yeah, okay, right.
And if
And-
someone shows up and they lost a bag, well, it's just another $5 for the bag, and then they can fill it up again.
Okay.
Wait, so if I purchase a bag and I can fill it up and then I come back to where y'all park at next week, do I get to fill my bag up for free again?
Yep.
Mhm.
So
Yep,
just
yep, yep.
keeping the bag, but if I lose it, I gotta
pay another $5.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't forget, I want to see healthy cookbooks,
Gotcha.
like healthy soul food cookbook. And I know there's a healthy Mexican cookbook, that kind
Sure.
of stuff.
Healthy soul food.
Yeah, there's
Is that a
ex,
thing?
yeah, I have about 4 of them.
I ain't never seen it.
Mhm.
I was gonna say, I think that's fictional.
That sounds like a way to ruin soul food.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen it.
I have 4 healthy soul food cookbooks, and 2 of them I got from the federal government for free when I went to a conference. So I don't know if they still have it, but I'll send you, I'll just drop off photocopy so you can see who gave them out free, but I got them free at a conference I went to. Yep, healthy soul food cookbooks. And they make one for Hispanics on Mexican cooking too.
Yeah, a couple of quick questions here. So the application was for $200,000? Or the
Yes,
200,000 is,
proposed. Sorry, continue.
or was 200,000 just the additional?
So yeah, when we proposed for it, it was $200,000. We'll see if we actually get that back from the health department. I was shooting high on it, so what I'm really looking for is between 120 and 150. But we shot for 200. You asked for more, and then
Okay.
they always
And
come
that
back.
was,
What was included in that? Was that salaries or not salaries?
So that would go towards kind of expanding our program for people that want to kind of not necessarily volunteer, but would give us a means to sort of supplement some money to help expand, get more hands involved with the program. It'd also help us increase our stipends for chefs for teaching the classes
Okay.
as well.
well, I'm just thinking, like, that doesn't sound like very much if you're also talking about the mobile pantry as well.
Well,
So
the expectations we'd get that donated.
By who?
and
Well,
The-
and go ahead, Connor, there's a reason.
And so with the HFI money, you actually can't use it to pay for something like the bus itself. We're going to be
Mhm.
using a different grant that we're applying for. It's through Walmart. And we're going to be using that to kind of help pay for the cost of the actual vehicle itself.
Okay.
That's the main reason.
And for the food? That
Sorry,
come
what
out
was
of the
that?
main? And for the food to stock the pantry?
Yeah, so
Or
you
the-
can't also use the HFI money on food itself either. So the Walmart grant is going to be partially for the vehicle and for food. We're also obtaining grants. We've got grants through Costco and Meijer that are helping supplement the food cost as well.
And Connor, you just got to tell them about the grant you just got.
Yeah, we just got another $600 from Meijer today, actually, for the
Okay.
cooking classes themselves.
That was huge.
Okay. So are we going to be getting anything from the food bank?
So I've reached out to the food bank on how they could kind of fit into our cooking class program. And I reached out to here, let me actually pull up the direct person because I've not been able to get Mary Jo because I know that she kind of runs everything over there, but I have been in contact with Brandy Love. So I'm kind of trying to see ideally in a perfect world, they would come to our classes, they'd come to our markets, and they'd help set up and kind of walk people through the process of getting hooked up with the food bank and getting food through them as well.
I like the whole program. It seems like it's going great to me.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
It's
So,
super popular.
yeah.
Every class is
Full.
Yeah.
The only other thing I would do is talk to St. Vincent de Paul, because
Okay.
they are probably outside of food bank and the next supplier of food,
Yeah.
free food. Because I know I belong to a very small church, and we must deliver easily to 20 families a month.
Yeah.
Food.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Connor.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Yes,
Scott.
thank you.
I think that's all that I got.
Okay.
If we adjourn the meeting, there's other questions, I'm happy to.
Theater plan, was there anything? Did Rikita already come out for that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was here last week. Yeah.
You didn't get it was on the news.
Yeah.
Jason sent a link in our.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was something else or. 'cause
No, that was ours.
it.
That was there. Alex and I were there live for that.
With Todd Rikita.
And I was driving by and said, that looks like Alex.
Yeah, Cheryl, like.
Honestly, I driving by and I
She
said,
just
that
pulls
looks
up.
like Alex. I wonder why he's here there.
He was standing
And then I thought, that looks like Jason in my rearview mirror. And I turned around.
Are you guys good to adjourn?
Yeah, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting, our September 9th, 2024.
I second.